How about some quiet in this place? There's a cleft of rock at our height of land that makes a perfect seat, so I sit. May shadbush and apple, and down in the village the flowering crab, and I can see them all, it being dawn, and I alone in the woods in this pallet. And before me, everything ought to be as it ought. Turkeys should still be gobbling, and fierce small calls of warblers should boil in the forest, and maybe they do, and maybe even the spring-full Connecticut River as an audible, gentle shoosh. But for me, that shoosh isn't water. No, the mild roar is tinnitus like static at low volume, with a ring in it like a tiny alarm, and I think, how about some quiet in this place? How about a little peace? My ears make me cranky almost to violence, and where should I direct the violence? I take in the world, its fools and clowns and killers, for instance, safe and sound in their DC offices with the elegant leather armchairs, brass lamps, views onto sublime landscape and monument, while in other towns and deserts, people, black, brown, and beige, and white boys and girls together, don't ask, don't tell. They know no silence, while slogans join with the clamor, gathering threat, Iraqi freedom, mission accomplished. Wild columbine hang on their stalks at my feet, and I think, Christ, how about some quiet? How about some quiet in this place? The wet dog scent of trillium falls upward on me from the bog behind, and gently I chew the honeysuckle, pedal for its sugar, which means I taste, touch, smell, see, but hear nothing. Just the current of rage, which is rage at fool and clown and killer, all right, but also at every stupid, clownish, murderous foolery I've ever committed myself, and more, such as fury that in this place and in these ears there's no quiet, though everything otherwise is, after all, as it ought to be. Black Angus steers on Paul Knox's farm below are grazing, say, as they ought to graze, with the dung and mud on their flanks invisible from here, so that they're pretty in their way, and seem so clean in the green, standing by the curious Shaker barn that's round as a silver dollar, the river running behind it, and then the white mountains that made Emerson feel like nothing. At times, I wish I felt like nothing, and so could make this ringing and this rush and rage crawl off the accommodating ledge and then slither down to the river themselves, and I'd be here zen, impassive, unconnected to senses, the one, the many, and be indeed nothing, or could feel anything besides this deaf, intractable anger. Yet that would be not to rise as now I'll do, and not to wander through dew-drenched pine seedlings with pale green pastel beacons of growth at twigs tip to the knoll from which, through one window, I'll see one daughter sleeping, and through another, the other, and both in sweet silence, but for the roar, but for the mild, awful roar in this place.